everybody, and welcome to Chelmsford Tonight, the show where we highlight people and places who make this area a great place to live and work. I'm Karen Woodrow, owner of Visiting Angels Senior Home Care, right here in Chelmsford. Our first story tonight is about a famous Chelmsford landmark. The world is full of famous landmarks. There's Big Ben in London, there's the Eiffel Tower in Paris, there's the pyramids in Egypt. Closer to home, we have the Bunker Hill Monument. Here in Chelmsford, we have the North Road Snowman. With me tonight are Holly and Mike Cerullo. They are the parents and caretaker of the North Road Snowman. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So, you have created an indelible landmark here in Chelmsford on North Road, and you can't really understand the impact that this landmark has until you actually see it. So we have a video of what happens when an unsuspecting driver heads down North Road. We drive down North Road, we approach your home, and ta-da! There it is, the North Road Snowman. So you can't help but smile when you see that, and you were talking about how you were hoping not to cause accidents on your street. But tell us a little bit about how this tradition got started.
About 20 years ago, we bought the snowman from Costco. And he was lighted up, and he had ornaments hanging from his arms. And he was pretty interesting even at that point. And then we had him out on the lawn for maybe 5 or 6 years, and then we decided to put him out on the deck in the back. He had lost the ornaments, wasn't quite as handsome. And then the lights didn't work anymore. We had a large tree cut down beside the driveway and decided, all right, we're going to put him out on the stump just as a snowman. And we kind of screwed him onto the stump so they wouldn't fall over. And then that winter, we had snow until April. And then by the time we could get to him, he had grown into the stump. He was a permanent fixture.
He didn't want to leave you guys.
And, no, and at that point,
we tried getting him out. It wasn't easy.
No, at that point, we decided, all right, he's just going to stay there, and we'll dress him for different seasons because we can't get him off the stump. And that's kind of how it started, dressing him.
Okay, well, that's pretty fortuitous for us that this snowman just planted himself on your driveway. Let's take a look at the North Road Snowman, how he looked back in the day. I think it was, 2016? Let's take a look at the naked snowman. So, pretty boring, pretty ho-hum, and you guys decided to dress him up. How did that get started? What was his first outfit?
I don't even remember, do you?
No.
I just remember, it might have been Christmas, or it might have been 4th of July. It could have been 4th of July, and we just said, you can't have a snowman on the 4th of July. So we just dressed him up in all kinds of red, white, and blue, and Uncle Sam hat.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, that's
I think
awesome.
that's how it started.
We also have a video of you guys changing the snowman. So let's watch the video. Maybe you guys can describe a little bit of what's going on. It starts with him in the 4th of July outfit, and what's happening here?
Well, we take turns taking things off. And then, that was when he was a robin, and then we added to the robin for each season. And now we're getting him in his swim trunks and getting him ready for summer. Usually, when we're dressing him, someone will go by and either pull into the driveway and talk to us, or beep and wave as they go by, or yell out the window. It's really fun.
Oh, that's great. I love how he looks so festive and he celebrates the seasons. We have a picture of all the different holidays that you've dressed him up for. Let's take a look at that. He has celebrated Valentine's Day and St. Patrick's Day and Thanksgiving, and I think it's a great reminder for everybody, like, oh, what's holidays coming up next? Where do the decorations come from? Are you a sewer? Do you make them? What do you do?
I am a sewer, but I do a lot of crafts with foam and some things we buy from Michael's. As a matter of fact, one nice person sent us a gift card one time for $25 at Michael's. And we used that money to buy accessories for the snowman.
Yeah.
But most of it we make.
Someone sent you a gift card from Michael's
Yep.
to help dress
Yes.
the snowman.
It
Yep.
came to North Road Snowman parents
Oh, isn't that sweet?
Yep.
I love that.
Very sweet.
with a nice note, and the card said, "Here, use this for future outfits."
Yep.
Oh, so we have the holiday outfits and future outfits. I think you guys got bored with just the holidays that were intermittent and you had to fill up some time. So we have a picture of some other events that you have honored. Tell us what we're looking at here.
Well, summer barbecue, of course.
Yeah.
I try to do something for each month, and so I think that was June, like for Father's Day barbecues. And then we did during Halloween, when we had the national voting, we reminded people to vote and that there were early voting times.
So the snowman is doing his civic duty.
He's doing his civic duty also. And then we celebrated the Olympics, the Winter Olympics, I think about 2 Olympics ago.
Okay, well this will be coming back up in February?
Yes, we might do something similar
Oh, good.
for February. Yep.
So I have to tell you, I was driving through another town, which will not be mentioned on this show, and I came across the naked snowman. Not yours, but a naked snowman, and I laughed. I go, I am definitely not in Chelmsford right now. So, all right, you told us about the gift card, but I know that there's been some other response.
There was a woman that stopped in and rang the back doorbell and said, I just have to tell you that I love driving by and seeing the snowman. And she sent an Easter card when the snowman was dressed up as a lamb. And then there have been people that have stopped me in the grocery store and said, I love your snowman. And I said, how did you know it was me? She said, I've seen you out there decorating it. Now that's when I had curly hair, so they don't recognize me anymore because
You're incognito.
I'm incognito without the curly hair. Lots of people have stopped by to say how much they like it. And there was one woman that sent a note that said she has a summer house in New Hampshire and lives in Marlborough.
Yeah.
And when she has to drive by, and she said, I just always love driving by to see the snowman. Sometimes she goes out of her way to drive by to see the
Wow.
snowman.
So you've really put Chelmsford on the map with your
I think
with
so.
your wintry offspring. Let's look at my favorite picture that I have seen of the snowman. On the left-hand side of the screen is Tom Brady after winning the Super Bowl, and I would like viewers to ignore the picture on the right-hand side of him losing the Super Bowl. So tell us, are we going to see Mac Jones up there in the future?
I don't know.
Hadn't thought of
I
that.
hadn't thought about that, but maybe if the Patriots play Tom Brady in the Super Bowl this year, maybe we'll do a split snowman.
Oh, that'll be really interesting. All right, I have one final question. If you guys ever move, are you going to put it in the purchase and sale agreement that the people that buy your house have to continue this tradition?
My concern is what happens when he falls apart. I mean, he's 20 years old. The wiring is getting rusty. The plastic that surrounds him is practically disintegrated. I cover him with a wire-type cloth to protect the body. I don't know how long that's going to last.
All right.
I thought a good ending would be explosives with a big TNT, like in.
That's just mean. Everyone, shh, don't listen to
Don't
him.
listen.
That's just mean, Mike.
Sometimes we don't agree.
All right. Well, whatever happens with the snowman, if he disintegrates, I'm sure you guys will come up with something else that makes North Road and your home a wonderful place for everybody in Chelmsford.
you.
Thank you for being with us.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having us.
We'll be back after this break.
It's a great morning out here in this particular town for our first My School Rules winner. The presentation is going to our middle school division, and the winner is the Parker Middle School here in Chelmsford. How about that? Come on! Come on! Yeah!
That was Jean Levangie from Boston 25 News announcing the winner of the My School Rules contest. With me tonight is Jeff Parks, principal of that winning school, Parker Middle School in Chelmsford, Massachusetts. Thank you for joining me, Jeff.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So this was a contest, My School Rules. It was a contest sponsored by Boston 25 News and Pedulla Law, and it's recognizing amazing public schools.
That's
and
right.
You guys won.
And we won.
That is so awesome. All right, so tell me what makes Parker Middle School so amazing.
It really comes down to the students we have, the staff that we have, and it's really, I know you probably hear this at every school, but it's really the staff truly coming together and supporting each other to make sure that all of our kids are successful. And whatever that success means, it's different for a lot of kids, but just really leaning on each other's experience and expertise to make sure that we're our best when we're working together and giving the kids our all every day.
That's great. It's really quite an honor. So who decided that you were going to enter the contest?
I did. So it was kind of a fluke. I saw the advertisement on Boston 25 one morning, and I didn't think much of it, but they ran the advertisement. I was like, oh, that's pretty neat. And this is about the time we're heading back to school, like early September. And sure enough, over the next couple of days, I saw it on Twitter and Instagram. I have school accounts, so I saw it popping up a couple of different times. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to enter this. And it was really just tell us why your school rules in, I think it was like 500 words or less or something like that.
Oh, you were back to school, you were writing your essay?
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. So I write the essay and I submit it, and I told my wife that I had submitted it, and I didn't really make a big deal of it. And in my mind was, there's not a lot of great ways or easy ways that we can recognize, all of the students and staff. So in my mind was like, wouldn't it be great if we get some sort of acknowledgement from Boston 25 and I can at least share the essay with everybody? That was kind of like the big win, that I was thinking going into it. Sure enough, a couple weeks later, I get a phone call that said you're one of 2 finalists based on the essay, and I was like, oh, this is getting real. And they let me know that it was, there were 2 elementaries, 2 middle, and 2 high schools vying for, at each level. And we were one of the 2. They were sending someone out to do a story. On October 7th, they came out. A gentleman, Evan White, one of the reporters, came, interviewed some kids, some staff members, me, and they put a great piece together. And they also sent Jean Levangie to the other middle school, and they ran the pieces against each other, I guess, so to speak. And then it was just over to live voting, which ran for about 24 hours, and we came out as the winners.
All right, so it was live voting after everybody watched the piece.
That's right.
How many votes did you get?
It was in the neighborhood of 35,000, something like that, which was just remarkable. I certainly don't know that many people, but it was really cool. The other school did quite well also, but it just came down to, I shared it out with everybody. All of our staff members, all of our kids, we just made it such a big deal. And people were really, digging deep to all of their different connections that they have, friends from college, family members, and everybody. I'd run into people and they're like, we voted every hour on the hour, and so it was really cool to see how many people kind of came together to help support us. So it was a lot of fun, and we were completely blown away by the response that we got.
How many students in the school?
730.
Okay, so they each had to drum up a lot.
A lot of business. Yeah.
They knocked on a lot of doors
That's
to get
right.
those 35,000 votes.
Yeah, and about 100 staff members too. So everybody just reached out, and we did it in the announcements. There was just a great buzz throughout the school. Over at Chelmsford High School, we had one of our former students, who's the class president right now. His name is Marcos Hernandez. He was making announcements for us, let's go vote for Parker and stuff like that. So it was a big community effort.
Sounds like the whole town got behind
It was cool.
you.
Yeah, they sure did.
All right, and what'd you win?
So we won, in addition to the fun, the memories, all of that stuff that we're going to be able to keep forever. Pedulla Law donated $5,000 to the school, which was amazing, and that was part of the live broadcast that we saw. So they came in, and so we won $5,000, incredible recognition. bringing me here. So there's a lot of like kind of smaller victories that are going along with it, which is actually pretty cool. But the big prize was the check from Pedulla Law.
And what are you going to do with that money? That's a lot of money for a middle school.
It's a lot of money for a middle school, and once we knew that we were a finalist, I was thinking of trying to get a little bit creative with what we could do. And so what we had decided was to bring in therapy dogs to help work with the students and staff. And the idea really came from last spring, the district brought in dogs to each school to work with the staff. It was on one of the days when the kids weren't here. And the smiles, the excitement, all of that was just so apparent. So I thought it would be a great idea to bring them back to work with the kids. And so that's where we are directing the money to.
That sounds great. It really, therapy dogs are great, especially kids that are having a tough time these days. With all that's going on in the world, I'm sure
That's
these
right.
therapy dogs will bring a lot of joy to them.
Yeah.
So not only is Parker Middle School the winner of My School Rules contest, but it's the home of Chelmsford TeleMedia, where we're broadcasting from right now. I think all of us here at Chelmsford Tonight agree with those 35,000 voters that this is an amazing school. And congratulations. Thanks for sharing the story with us, Jeff.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
And we'll be right back after this break, but here's a little send-off from the students at Parker Middle School.
So let's hear it for the Parker Middle School, huh?
Fine craftsmanship has been part of the Chelmsford Mills tradition since 1890. Over the years, the historic building has been home to a foundry, a carpentry shop, a machine shop, and a blacksmith. Today, that building is home to Nova Art Studio. With me tonight is Renee Mallett to talk about what's going on now at the Nova Art Studio. Welcome, Renee.
Thank you for having me.
So it's a pleasure to have you here. I had a great time reading about you on the Nova Art Studio website. Renee is an artist, a writer, a soap maker, and much more. She owns Amaranth and Rue, which makes soap and other bath products, which would be great for everyone to pick up during their holiday shopping. So Renee, before we continue about you, because I have lots of questions about the things that you do, tell us a little bit about Nova Art Studio.
It really kind of happened very organically. There was a few of us who were friends, and we had been at other art studios, and we were kind of trying to find something that fit us better. All of us are kind of at the same spots in our artistic careers where, we're artists and we're makers, but it's also our business. So a lot of people always say like, oh, well, you're a small business, and other people say, well, you're not a small business, you're an artist. And I always say instead of being somewhere between the two, you have to be both at the same time. So it just sort of made sense for us to go in together and collaborate and have this workspace, but also have it be a professional space where we can take care of the business side of things.
Well, that's great. You've got, how many artists are in there now?
So we have almost a dozen artists right now. Everything from, we have painters, we have woodworkers, everything in between.
And we have a video of the artists at work in the studio. Pete, can you play that video for us? So can you tell us a little bit what's going on in each of these?
Yeah, so this is Deb O'Connell. She's an artist right here from Chelmsford. She does amazing paintings and art. She's a teaching artist. This is Liz of Lush Beads. She's one of our jewelers. She makes jewelry out of sort of hardware and sort of very cool industrial looking things. Keeping with the historic nature of the building, we have an antique letterpress, and this is Beth, whose business is Kern Girl, and she can do amazing things with it. She does art, she can make these custom note cards, and she does it all on an antique letterpress.
It looks like a very cool space.
It is. So this is Shauna. She makes these quilts. It's pretty much all custom work. So, she has people bring T-shirts and things that, have a lot of personal meaning to them, and she turns them into these great quilts that are, I mean, they're heirloom quality.
Right. Oh, I love those memory quilts. Those are really nice. So it looks like a great space, and it's really interesting to have an artist that also has business skills. I think you guys each have your own business, your own separate space, but there's a common area that you share.
Yeah, we just sort of call it our common space, but it's set up somewhere in between. You know, it's a little bit art gallery, it's a little bit of a boutique shopping experience, and all of our studios are sort of around that. But it's just a great place to gather. You know, the biggest thing is that it's not just a place to work; it's a community. And you know, we're starting to do a lot of programming that we hope will appeal not just to artists in the area, but also things that just, you know, non-artists that live in Chelmsford might want to come and visit.
And you have events. Can anybody come and visit the space when you're there?
Yeah, all of our events, at least so far, are free and open to the public, and you know, we have parking, and you know, we're just kind of trying to find where we fit in Chelmsford and what we can add to the community.
And do we get to see you work like in this video, or are you more there just selling
Oh, no,
your
you
wares?
certainly can. Actually, I think most of the visitors love to come see Beth with her letterpress. It seems like most of the events she ends up sort of in her studio the whole time, you know, showing how she inks it and runs the paper through. And but, you know, we have teaching artists, and there's classes going on, and
Oh, that's great. And so you started this with two of your friends, with Regina McGarty and Liz Stewart, who are both artists that also have studios in this space. And I have to tell you, I learned a new word when I was doing research on Nova Art Studios. Regina is an encaustic painter. I had never heard that term before.
You know, a lot of people haven't. It's very interesting. It's actually it's beeswax mixed with resin, and it's colored. It's extremely colorful. But you actually melt the wax and paint with it.
Wow, that must make some beautiful stuff. And I know, I looked at your products. You make, why don't you tell us, there's soaps and bath products. Tell us a little bit about what you do in your art.
So I started off just making soap, which seems funny to me to think back, you know, 15 years ago when it was, you know, making soap. And then over time, you know, people would say, oh, I love this. I wish you had this scent in a lotion. And I'd look and I'd say, oh, well, I can make the lotion. At this point, the product line, I mean, I have cosmetics, I have nail polishes, skincare, soaps. It turns out that soap is the hardest thing to make. So since I started with the hardest thing, it was all downhill from there.
Oh, that's great. But it's interesting because you bill yourself as an artist and a business person, which is great that you've got this Nova Art Studios going. But what I found most interesting about you is the books that you've written, and I want to have you back on Chelmsford Tonight to talk about some of them.
Oh, I would love to. Yeah, it's, you know, originally when I first got my first art studio, it was to write in. I have 5 kids at home, so having a quiet place to actually sit and write, and it makes all the difference.
All right, I think you probably need a bathtub in your studio too, so you can use your products with peace and quiet without your kids running in all the time. All right, well, thanks for sharing the story of Nova Art Studio. I think everybody should come out on the third Thursday when you have events. Check out the website, novaartstudios.com, and see what's happening there and visit these amazing artists. Thank you for being here, Renee.
Thank you for having me on.
That's all the time we have tonight. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Chelmsford Tonight. I want to thank my camera crew, John Egan, Bob Pariseau, Karen Karpawich, and of course Pete Pedulla up in the studio, running it but not running my clock. So thanks for being with us tonight. I hope you've enjoyed the show, and we'll be back in 2 weeks with more of Chelmsford Tonight. Good night, everybody.